salty Gulf Coast to the rolling high plains, to the piney woods in the east. All across our dear Texas, folks need good food to eat. Our farmers and ranchers are heroes. They've always made Texas great. Texas agriculture matters. It's the heart of the Lone Star State. Oh, Texas got it all, y'all.
Well, howdy, neighbors. I'm Commissioner Sid Miller with the Texas Department of Agriculture. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Texas Agriculture Matters right here on RFD-TV. If you've watched our show before, you know we like to talk about agriculture industries where Texas leads the nation, you know, like cattle, cotton, and real long list. Hey, it's not bragging if it's true, right? Well, today we're going to do it again, but this time with a twist. A twisted horn, that is. That's right, today we're talking about sheep. As you might expect, Texas leads the nation in the number of sheep and lambs, and by a lot. With about 750,000 head of sheep, Texas has about 15% of the entire U.S. inventory. But those are a long way from the 10 million sheep that used to call Texas home. You know, over the decade, the Texas wool industry has been steadily declining, now worth only about, $3 million. So consequently, many sheep operations have moved away from wool sheep to meat operations. But the real twist in this story is that the number of breeding sheep is more than 3 times that of the market sheep. So Texas is a national leader in the sheep breeding industry. And today we're going to look at one of those only breeds to ever originate in Texas, the painted desert sheep. Now it's a combination of several other more common breeds. The painted desert sheep are hair sheep, so there's no wool to shear. With their long twisted horns, the painted desert sheep look like the longhorns of the sheep world. And like the longhorns, these sheep are tough, disease resistant, and uniquely Texan. And again, like longhorns, they have their own breed registry. The Painted Desert Sheep Society was created to protect the integrity of the breed. This is a real unique breed. You're going to enjoy it. So sit back, relax, and take a look at how the painted desert sheep is just another way Texas agriculture matters.
Michael Brent is quite popular on his farm in Yantis, Texas. His passel of painted desert sheep come a-running as soon as he hits the fence line, with this feed bucket, of course. Brent didn't really set out to become a sheep breeder.
I really wasn't even interested in sheep, but I bought this place and bought an old tractor and an old shredder because I didn't really plan on buying a tractor and a shredder. And the old tractor would break down and I'd get it fixed, and the shredder would break down and I'd get it fixed, and by the time I'd put them together, one of them fixed, and I just got fed up with it, so I fenced it in and bought some sheep.
Brent thought he'd bought some American blackbelly sheep, but when the babies hit the ground, he discovered something else. So he reached out to the person who sold him his original herd.
They said all our painted desert ram must have got loose and bred those sheep. So that got me into checking out what painted deserts was, and I liked them so much, I just decided to get rid of all of my American blackbellies and start raising painted desert sheep and to mow my pasture.
Not only does his pasture get mowed, but its inhabitants are quite beautiful to look at. The characteristic that sets these sheep apart from other breeds, their colorful markings. Patterns can be distinct with oval, splashes, frosted, or marbled.
These sheep are each individuals. They all have individual spots, individual colors, and you can look out in the pasture from a distance and tell who you're looking at because they're kind of painted up like Palomino horses and Dalmatian dogs, but with more colors, so it made me like them better.
And the painted desert rams, also known as the Texas Longhorns of sheep, have the ability to grow what some call trophy horns. That's why some of these animals are bought by hunting ranches.
The hunting ranches these days buy a lot of our big rams for, and I really don't want mine going there because I've bottle fed most of them and taken care of most of them, but it is a valid option for other breeders and other farms to carry their rams to auction, where they will be 8 or 10 hunting ranches there bidding on them to put them on their hunting ranch for hunters.
The painted desert breed is known for its flocking instinct. They're very docile, especially when handled from birth. They also require no shearing. Brent focuses on selling his offspring to other breeders and those who have an interest in showing them. He's hopeful that more county fairs, 4-H's, and FFA groups will have competitions for this specialty breed since it's Texas specific.
I think it's real important because it was originated here in Texas, and it didn't come from anywhere else. It came from right here in the heart of Texas, and sounds to me like Texas agriculture and an originated sheep from the heart of Texas kind of go together.
I'm Tammy Arender for Texas Agriculture Matters.
Howdy neighbors, I'm pleased to have with me Michael Brent. Now he's the owner of Tejas Ranch and he's a breeder of painted desert sheep. He's also an advisory board member of the Painted Desert Sheep Society. Michael, good to have you with us today. And thank you for, I'm real anxious to learn about these painted desert sheep. They're new to me, so I'm, be patient with me. I'm trying.
Thank you, sir. It's an honor to be here.
Tell us about yourself and how you came to raise these wonderful painted desert sheep.
Well, I was on my final years of working, and I decided to buy me a piece of land out in East Texas, and it was a little bit overgrown, got a good deal on it. And I attempted to keep it mowed down with a old beat-up tractor and a old shredder, and when one of them was running, the other one was broke down. I got tired of that, so I decided to put me some American blackbellies on it, which a lot of people in Texas call Barbie doe, but the American blackbelly actually has horns. And I put me a flock of about 30 on there that were bred. And a few weeks went by and started lambing, and these little lambs popped out that was white with black spots, or they'd be black with white spots, or red with white spots. And I called the seller up and said, "Hey, look here, we got a problem. Something is crossed here." And the lady said, "Oh, I guess my painted desert ram must have got out and got with the ewes." And I said, "Painted desert?" And she said, "Oh yeah, they're cousins. They're just a different breed of sheep here in Texas." So I started doing some studying on them and decided that, well, I found out they were originated in Texas by Anita Garza in 1997, and I wanted to support another native Texan, sure. And so I just joined the Painted Desert Sheep Society. And
well, that's an interesting story. Let's talk about the sheep and wool industry in Texas. It's kind of moving away from wool, and to me, it looks like we're moving more to the meat industry.
I think so. In my opinion, the meat sheep is just a more profitable sheep than a wool sheep. You've got the farm to table. You've also got people like Hamilton. I checked with them yesterday at the Bighorn sale, and the big rams, which they call trophy rams, 32-inch horns or longer, had an average price of $1,000 to $1,500 a piece, and some of them even went up to $4,000. And
so how old is a ram like that before you can get $4,000 for it?
Probably 6, 7, 8 years old with multiple curls.
Got some age on them then. So if there's someone out there that are interested in raising this type of sheep, what do you tell them about the painted desert sheep industry, and how would they get started? Where would they find them?
Well, I'd like them to come to me, or check out the Painted Desert Sheep Society. All of our members are on there too, and I just think they're a majestic breed of sheep. I mean, they have genetics in them that, as I said earlier, instead of looking out in a pasture full of all brown sheep or all white sheep, they're all individually colored and spotted, and they're just just a pleasure to raise. Matter of fact, what we classify as our world grand champion ram is a native Texan, and
that's great. So they would be like a great flock to have on an estate or something like
yes,
that,
sir.
For a family to have. So, hey, folks, I tell you what, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Texas Agriculture Matters right here on RFD-TV. Folks, welcome back to Texas Agriculture Matters. I'm your host, Commissioner Sid Miller. Now, let's continue our discussion with Michael Brent from Tejas Ranch. Michael, you serve on the advisory board of the Painted Desert Sheep Society. Tell us about the society and why it's important and why it was formed.
Well, the society, Anita Garza, down in Needville, Texas, formed this society in 1997. And to protect the breed as far as we can, on just like any breeds, all are mixed at some point. And she started the society so we would start raising quality animals with good genetics, good horns, good color. And
so is there a breed registry with
Yes,
it?
sir.
And so you got pedigrees?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you keep any kind of production records or anything
Yes, sir.
like that? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So what are some of the biggest challenges facing the Painted Desert Society and the industry right now?
Well, I thought about that question a little before, and I think it's just like anything else, any industry. It seems like the help these days is kind of hard to find help. And so many, it seems like this generation maybe is kind of drifting away from the rural farm life and pursuing other avenues, and it's just hard to find someone that can really, that's our biggest challenge, that can help us out on the farm.
Okay. Now I understand that there are some organizations that don't allow painted desert sheep in some of the livestock shows. Why is that? Is it just got to be some reason?
I hate to say they don't allow it, because it's more like they don't accept our breed yet, now, and we really don't know why. But the 4-H and the FFA and the local fairs just don't have categories for us now, and we're trying to work with them to allow us, because we've been around 23 years as a registered society,
right,
to get in it, because we just feel like that if they would open it up more to our breed of sheep, that's just more entries, more entry fees, more kids with animals, and to be honest, it'd help us out too, because I want my sheep winning ribbons.
Sure, and it create a new market.
Of course.
A show sheep market.
Right, and I'm not going to go out there and pick out my worst, ugliest sheep. I'm going to
Sure, you want to win.
I want to present them my favorite one, because I want to win too.
Now, here I got to ask you this question, and you know what's coming. Now, as a breeder and a small business owner, and working with these sheep and promoting the breed, you've got to actually have an opinion as to why Texas agriculture matters. What is it?
Well, I think Texas agriculture matters because I think the basic Texas farmer is family oriented. And my granddad was a farmer, and I helped him on his farm, and I want my kids, and I'm introducing them to my farm, and I want my grandkids on my farm, and I want them, and they are interested. But we supported the industry for years. We've supported the FFA. I was an FFA member. I showed animals in shows, and I want my kids and your kids to be able to show our animals, and I want my kids to show my animals. And I just think, being part of raising and taking care of animals on a farm builds character.
I couldn't agree more with you. Michael, thank you so much for coming on the show today and letting us visit about Tejas Ranch, and we appreciate what you do. Keep up the good work. Keep breeding these fine painted desert sheep. again, thanks for being with us.
We appreciate you, sir, and all the work you do for the Texas farmers and ranchers. And I need you to put in one of them executive orders maybe for me to try to get us in them shows if you can.
Okay. All right. Well, neighbors, thank you for joining us for another episode of Texas Agriculture Matters. I hope you learned a little bit about the painted desert sheep, the story of the sheep and wool industry here in the great state of Texas, and an example of its adaptability of agriculture. 30 years ago, the wool industry was such a major contributor to the state and local economies that there were pageants to choose a wool queen. That's right, a wool queen. But with the development of synthetic fabrics, the wool industry changed, and so did agriculture. Agriculture has always been one of the most adaptable industries out there. And by definition, agriculture is always in motion. For tens of thousands of years, farmers have had to adapt to changing seasons, weather, and environmental instability, and farmers can never afford to stand still. That's why farmers and ranchers are always on the cutting edge of technology, like the use of drones, crop science, genetics, and breeding. So if you have a chance to get out and see some of these painted desert sheep, see them as another great success in the adaptability of agriculture and the ingenuity of Texas farmer. And as always, I'd like to close by saying thanks to every farmer and rancher who works from sunrise to sunset to provide the food and fiber we all need and helps keep our rural heritage alive. And finally, here's today's cowboy logic. Cows don't give milk. You heard me. Cows don't give milk. If you want milk, you got to work for it. You got to take it from them. And that's the way life is. Nothing's going to come to you easy. You're going to have to work for it. God bless. And remember, friends, Texas agriculture matters.
From the salty Gulf Coast to the rolling high plains, to the piney woods in the east, all across our dear Texas, folks need good food to eat. Our farmers and ranchers are heroes. They've always made Texas great. Texas agriculture matters. It's the heart of the Lone Star State.